Speaking of transformational leaders, in universities, look around the presidents and the chancellors of universities in the United States. Which one would you name as a transformational leader?
Well, of course.
You had a big role in picking and persuading one. You don't have to say his name, but...
Okay, I won't. I would say the incredible Dr. Monk.
Well, presidents and chancellors, why don't we actually talk about it?
By the way, yeah. I don't think there's any doubt. And by the way, one of the toughest decisions for me is when I was chairman of the Board of Trustees was to go against the grain and go against the tradition of finding a president for Purdue who was outside of academia and didn't have a PhD. And I remember I told Berghoff, who I had running the selection committee, I said, just let me come in there once to the search committee, and I only need 1 minute, and I'll give the charge. And I went in there and I said, we're looking for 3 things. We're looking for leadership, leadership, leadership. And that's when I told Mike, you know, go do the search, and I'll sneak off and go after the impossibles. And Mitch, of course, was one of those because he was the sitting governor at the time. But if you look at Mitch's set of skills, you know, being the youngest EVP at Eli Lilly, being director of OMB, the chief financial officer for the United States, then the most popular 2-term governor, and you know, I saw him at the Indiana State Fair, at the pork farmer's breakfast. I mean, this guy was just like as folksy as they can. And then you see him with the intellectual PhD guys, and he's the smartest guy in the room. This guy has range. He's a diplomat. And so it wasn't a hard decision once we revealed to the board, hey, Mitch is interested. So, and if you look at how Purdue has been transformed, he has followed the formula for how you transform an institution. First of all, it's all about the customer value proposition. So think about the students, okay? Let's start off with the most basic, the lowest in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and that is tuition, student debt. There's $1.4 trillion of student debt that is burdening this country. And where you begin? Well, freeze tuition. And by the way, that was counterintuitive. Now we get the credit for being the leader in that. The other thing, you listen to the customer, we pounded on the tables before Mitch, is, you know, students like it to kind of be self-paced. They like those online classes. So, okay, why don't we do a total jujitsu move? Let's go buy Kaplan. And it's like, who bought what? Who bought what? I mean, that was a brilliant move. And then to have it organized outside the classic integrated with the Purdue traditional area, so you can move fast and really create something disruptive. Now it is a national treasure and a platform to be able to retrain the workforce, keep our alums engaged, even can be utilized in prison reform, and it can be used globally. And so what Mitch is doing is he's building a 2-sided network, just like we did at Reba, just like at DocuSign. It creates a net gravity pull. And you know, when you create a network, you have 3 objectives. 1 is maximize the number of nodes, the members. Number 2, reduce the friction between the nodes. And then number 3, add value to each one of those nodes. So he's disrupted by listening to that customer, and he's challenged the status quo, and he's set a great vision, a great mission. So yeah, I think Purdue is leading the pack, and it's no wonder wherever I go, whether I mean it could be different places in the world or Washington D.C. or New York, I think Mitch is known as the leader in terms of reforming higher education. and probably the best president of any university. And we are very fortunate as Boilermakers. I mean, we're just so proud of what he does, and he assembles an all-star team because he also says the who before the what. Mm-hmm. And I mean, look at the deans we have. I mean, look at the talent he's brought in.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly there are many leaders today at Purdue who joined Purdue because Mitch was there to persuade them.
Like the story, I mean, here's this humble guy, right? He got his bachelor's, master's, PhD from Stanford.
Where is that university? Never heard of it.
Well, man, I don't know. But I think we'd kill him in football. What do you think?
Well, even Berkeley maybe able to do that.
By the way, getting combined teams, we could still beat them. Throw their band in. But, I mean, look at this guy. And then it goes off, does startup companies on the East Coast, goes to Princeton, Dean Electrical Engineering School, run their entrepreneur programs, wins the Waterman Award, which is the most prestigious award in academia. It's more prestigious, I think, than Nobel Prize.
Well, I think the Nobel laureates disagree, but well, thank you very much, Keith. I got to turn the mic back to asking you questions before I'm embarrassed any further.
I just want to say one more thing, because he's over at my house about, 6-9 months ago, and it's like, why did you come to Purdue? He goes, I came for 2 reasons. One was because of Purdue engineering. He goes, but the other is a chance to work with Mitch Daniels. And I'm glad you did.
Yeah. Well, I remember... we're not done yet. We'll still have 9 minutes and 50 seconds.
I got more Hmong stories.
Well, we got to quickly turn around these conversations. I'm supposed to interview you. Keith, you are the keynote. Transformational leaders, right? Somebody who can challenge the status quo, who can articulate a vision, and who can build and galvanize a team.